If you notice that your kids are having a hard time making or maintaining friends, open up. Sometimes you may have to change the narrative, because the things we say to our kids, it becomes their inner voice. Hello to all of you positive parents. I'm Dom, the BCBA mom. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about social skills. Yes. Is it me, or is this generation really missing out on those really core social skills? Or maybe they're just missing out on opportunities to practice those social skills just because they're so engaged in other things. So today we're going to talk about social skills and ways to enhance our children's social skills. So these are the skills that our kids need, not just to make and maintain friends as children, but these are the executive functioning skills that they're going to need in college, in adulthood, when it's time to get a job, when it's time to advocate for that promotion, when it's time to propose to their fiance. They are going to need these social skills to get them through life. This video is going to be addressing those kiddos who already have those language or verbal skills, but just may not have those great social interactions with their peers. Later, I'm going to make a video on how to facilitate language. Let's say you want to teach a kid how to talk, right? If you want to make sure that your kid has those language skills. Like I said in a previous video, you can't expect your kid to do something if they don't know how or if they can't do it. So soon I'm going to upload a video on how to facilitate language and learning, and that's going to be really, really, really good. But first, you have to subscribe, because when you subscribe, then you get notifications on when I have my next videos. That way you won't miss anything. So you can do that now. I'll wait. But this video is going to target those individuals, those teenagers, kiddos, on the spectrum, off the spectrum, whomever. We all need those social skills in order to make the best out of this life, okay? That's why we need to enhance these skills. Not only to make and maintain friends, but to build relationships with our families, to thrive in school, to be able to respect our teachers, and to just be the best us we can be as we interact with other people. Okay, so this is not a video that's forcing or highlighting or emphasizing conforming. Okay, some of our kiddos on the spectrum have no desire to interact with friends. Like, they just don't care about making friends. So you have to find a healthy balance of doing the things that your kids are motivated to do anyway, and increasing that with appropriate social skills, because social skills are going to take them a lot further in life than isolating themselves or being all alone. Here is 6 ways to increase your kids' social skills so they can just be a little social butterfly. So they can make meaningful impact on their friends. Number 1, don't let your emotions control your behavior. Ooh, and that's not just for kids. That's for us too, moms. So we do this thing in my house, and let's say there's a problem, right? My son's first reaction is like usually like irrational, just like, seriously? Seriously? Just take it down a notch. So what we do now is we identify, like, so is that a little problem or is that a big problem? So we stop in our tracks every time, and we identify, is that a little problem or is that a big problem? If it's a little problem, then it warrants a little reaction. Shoot. Darn. Maybe punch a pillow, and then you need to get over it. Okay? If it's a big problem, somebody is physically hurt, you're bleeding, somebody is gone forever, they're not coming back, whatever warrants a big problem in your house, then you can have a big reaction. But every single problem does not warrant a big reaction. If you can learn to control your emotions, or at least control your behavior, so we identify, is this a big problem or is this a small problem? For those big problems, we also need some coping skills, right? So you should practice this with your kiddos when they're not upset. Just on a regular Sunday, walking down the street, maybe practice some problem solving strategies and say, hey, what would you do if blah, 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 blah. Do a scenario that they have blown up over in the past. Now, while they're calm, maybe replay that scenario and just have them problem solve how they could have handled that differently, or how they could have inserted some of those coping skills to address that problem so it doesn't escalate into a bigger problem. Okay? So number one was, do not let your emotions control your behavior. That has big effects on friendship. Not a lot of people are going to want to be our friends, unfortunately, because they don't want to trigger those big reactions that comes from our emotions. Just like you don't want your friend popping off on you, you can't pop off on your friend. All right. Number 2, match the energy of the room. This is one of my favorites. So let's say you were trying to be social, okay, I think I'm gonna go to this little party, right? And then you go into the party and everyone is sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce, whispering, reading stories, just having calm music coming, and then you come in like, hey, 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 hey. And then your friends are going to be looking at you like, did she not get the memo? Like, this is a Zen party. You want to match the energy of the room. Flip the example. Let's say if you are at a party, right? And the party is like, everybody is turning up, they're listening to music, they're talking, they're laughing, they're sharing, stories about, lunch, what happened at lunch, and everybody's just, having a good time. Like this is a dance part. Like literally people came to dance and listen to music, and you're sitting in the corner. You're also not matching the energy of the room. So if you feel like that you can't match the energy of the room, that's fine, but maybe this is not the party for you in this moment. And that's okay too. Like I said, we're not telling you to conform to anybody's expectations. We're not telling you to follow the crowd. But when it comes to building appropriate social skills, it's really important to scan the room and match the energy of the room. When that child becomes an adult, they need to know when it's time to go into a business meeting, you do not carry your outside voice into the business meeting. Number 3, understand nonverbal cues. This is a big one. So much of our language, especially in America, is nonverbal social cues, okay? So if I were to give you a look like, and you don't understand my social cues, that look does not mean, hey girl, hey, come here, give me a hug. Give me a hug. No, it actually means the exact opposite. And without saying a word, that look is telling you to leave me alone. So if you're not understanding somebody's nonverbal cues, then you can insert yourself into a situation and people were obviously telling you to step back. You also have to be mindful of your own nonverbal cues or your own nonverbal language. So a good example of this is this thing right here. Oh no, that the Apple Watch, it has like every single app that's on your phone is connected to this watch. So it notifies you when pretty much anything happens, like somebody sneezes and it notifies you, right? So if I'm having a conversation with someone and they are like pouring their heart out to me and we are having a sister girl moment, heart to heart, heart to heart to heart, and I keep doing this, that nonverbal cue is showing my friend that I'm uninterested, that I got somewhere to be, that I'm bored, that like your time is up, like girl, hurry up, like let's go with this story. And that's not the message that I'm trying to send, but my body language is saying something else. So we have to be mindful, not only to read other people's body language, but also to be mindful of our own body language. I like to sit like this a lot, and I'm working on it because I realize it is not a power pose. And Number 4, learn to show empathy. And this is different than sympathy. I don't want you to feel bad for that person. I want you to put yourself in that person's shoes and feel what they're feeling, okay? I am a very empathetic person. You know, I would probably even call myself an empath. I feel you, girl. But for some people, it is really hard for them to put themselves in another person's shoes, okay? Especially individuals on the spectrum, individuals with special needs. When they are engaged in a behavior, it is very much to please the primitive natures of just primary reinforcements. Like, I can't really see outside of the things that I need in this moment, and what you need is not as important, so I just kind of have my blinders on to the things that I need. This is why we have to teach our kids to be empathetic. We have to teach them empathy. And we can practice this like in like natural settings. So an example for this, this literally happened today. On the way home from church, you know, my son and I, we do our own thing, you know, just like Mom's Sunday. I was like, oh, it's Sunday, you know, your grandparents would really love to hear from you, right? So my son, he hates talking on the phone, like one of his least favorite things to do, okay? And I know this. He's just not a phone person. But I tried to tell him, I'm like, dude, you don't know how happy you would make them to hear from you. Just on a Sunday, just calling to check on them and blah, 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 blah. So although he really didn't want to do it, that was a teachable moment. Like, put yourself in your grandma's shoes. On a Sunday, she would love to hear from you, right? So we went down the list. We called every one of his grandparents. He got 4 of them. We called every one of his grandparents, and lo and behold, every single one of them, you can hear them over the phone. I'm so happy you called.
Oh, it's so great to hear your voice. You really made my day. Blah, 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 blah.
And I'm like, see? Told you. And he was able to understand where I was coming from. So hopefully in the future, he's able to get outside of himself and just see how that compromise that he made makes a positive impact on the people that you love. It makes a positive impact on the people who just go hard for you.
Hey Mom, can I use the iPad? Please? Hi, I'm Kristen's son. I'm my mom's son, Kristen. I am 10 years old. And
Well, thank you for introducing yourself to my YouTube family. So thank you for being socially appropriate and introducing yourself and saying hi.
I'm just joking.
Yes, you can use the iPad. Go get your brother. Boop, boop, boop. Thank you. Woo. Number 5. Know that every friendship is not for you. So I know I've mentioned a lot about conforming. We are not asking you to conform, to follow peer pressure, or to just be somebody that you are not. You can do all the right things. You can say all the right things. You can be empathetic. You can be a flexible thinker. You can compromise, and you can do all of these things and still find it hard to make friends or to maintain friends. And I would just say to that particular friend may not have been placed on this earth for you. They may not. I know at times we have to compromise, but we shouldn't have to conform. So a perfect example of this, one time my son and I, my oldest, we went to the Bulls game, and it was a family night. So it was like a really, really cool event. Like, we had like the whole stadium to ourselves. We were able to go down on the court and shoot baskets. We were able to go back into the locker room. Really cool, kid-friendly event, right? So my son and I went, and he was just so psyched. So we were standing in line, getting ready to do an activity, and you know, I saw him looking at a group of boys that were around his age, and he was like, "Hey, y'all." And I was like, look at him trying to make friends. I was just, you know, kind of looking from afar, like, okay, you get it. He was like, what's up, y'all? And so then he was like, hey, dude, I like your hat. You know, I got the same hat. And then, you know, I think he followed up with like another question or whatever. You know, obviously trying to converse, trying to make friends. And, you know, the boys just kind of, you know, looked at each other. They giggled a little bit, and then they ignored him. So you know me, as a mama, I wanted to. But I used this as a teachable moment, and I showed him that, hey, what you did was perfect. You did everything right. You were motivated to make friends. And he did it very naturalistic. You know, sometimes when we teach language or we teach verbal skills, it sounds like a robot. It sounds like somebody programmed you to say, hi, how are you? What is your name? My name is this. Da, 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 da. No, it was so natural. I was proud as a mother and as a BCBA. I was proud. But those kids still decided to swerve him. So guess what? Forget them, because every friend is not for you. Number 6, the final way to enhance your kids' social skills is model being a good friend. You are the model. You are the template. You are the staple in their lives that show them how they behave and how they shouldn't behave, how they treat their friends and how they shouldn't treat their friends. Do they always overhear you talking mess about their teacher? Do they always hear you talking about your friends behind their backs or canceling on plans? Do they always overhear you always having something negative to say, or always complaining, or always yelling? If so, that's the behavior that they are going to imitate when they are trying to make friends. So just be mindful that your kids are always watching you. So we have to model that healthy relationship, that healthy friendship, that healthy those healthy social skills that we want them to imitate when it comes to them making friends. Sometimes you may have to change the narrative, because the things we say to our kids, it becomes their inner voice. It really does. So are we saying, excuse me. So are we saying things like, now I see why you don't have any friends, you're a crybaby. I see why you don't have any friends. Or are we saying things like, hey, I know it must be really tough learning how to make friends. Guess what? The right friend will come to you. But until then, how about we work on being our best selves, and then refer them to steps 1 through 5. So these are the 6 ways to enhance your kids' social skills. Express to your kids the importance of these skills, the benefits. They should know the benefits of these. They shouldn't just do these because you asked them to do it. You better speak to your grandma. How many of us have to do it? You better speak to your aunties. You better speak to people when they walk in the door. You better speak. I want my kids to know on their own. I speak to my grandmother when I walk into her house because it shows respect. It makes her feel good. It makes her think that I was thinking about her first. If I speak to her first and I come and I give her a hug, and then she smiles, and then she gives me all the love that grandmas give and all the things that they spoil them with. But I don't know why I gotta make that face when I'm playing mommy. You better speak. My mama never did that, by the way. Anyway, so that is it. That is all that I have for you today. I really, really hope that you enjoyed these tips. I hope you enjoyed my personal stories, my personal experiences. I feel like we learn best through personal experiences. So I am happy to share. I am learning to be more transparent. That is something that I am previously was not good at, but I am learning and sharing my story. I am helping others with theirs. So if you enjoy these videos, you have to do one thing for me. You just have to do one thing for me. Please subscribe. Because when you subscribe, then you don't miss out on anything. You're like the first person. You're like Dom, the BCBA mom VIPs, okay? You don't have to wait.
Blow my bubble.
Can you blow your bubbles? Okay. So we got to wrap up so we can blow bubbles. So if you subscribe, you're like VIP. You don't have to wait in line, okay? You already get the notifications when I upload the videos. And please don't forget to like and share if you're there.
Okay. I know you're there.
I know you're there.
I know you're there.
I know you're there.
I know you're there. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.